Most kidney patients are obsessed with one thing: watching their potassium. And yes, potassium matters. But while you've been focused on bananas and potatoes, there's another mineral quietly destroying your kidneys from the inside, and your doctor may not have warned you about it. That mineral is phosphorus. And here's what makes this dangerous: phosphorus doesn't cause obvious symptoms until the damage is already done. It builds up silently in your bloodstream, hardens your arteries, weakens your bones, strains your heart, and most critically, it accelerates the very kidney decline you're trying to stop. Studies now classify excess phosphorus as one of the most potent uremic toxins in chronic kidney disease. Patients who fail to control their phosphorus levels reach dialysis years earlier than those who do. Years. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is what most kidney diet videos completely miss. Not all phosphorus is the same. The phosphorus in a can of soda behaves completely differently in your body than the phosphorus in a handful of lentils. Understanding that one distinction could be the difference between your GFR dropping another 10 points this year or actually recovering. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly which phosphorus sources are destroying your kidneys, which ones are safe, the specific phosphate targets the National Kidney Foundation recommends for stage 3 and 4 patients, and the dietary strategy including 3 high-protein golden foods that has helped patients move backward from stage 4 to stage 2. Yes. Backward. Before we dive in, drop a comment right now. What stage are you at? Where are you watching from? And what's your latest phosphorus level? I read every single comment, and I will personally reply to your questions below. Now let's get into it. Most kidney patients are completely wrong about what a safe phosphorus level actually looks like, and that mistake is costing them years of kidney function. Here's what happens inside your body when phosphorus builds up. Your kidneys are responsible for filtering excess phosphorus out of your blood. But as kidney function declines, that filtering ability weakens. Phosphorus starts accumulating. And when it does, your body does something almost counterintuitive: it pulls calcium out of your bones to try to balance the excess phosphorus in your bloodstream. The result is a dangerous compound called calcium phosphate that deposits directly into your arteries, your heart tissue, and your joints. This isn't a slow, vague process. It is measurable, progressive, and if ignored, irreversible. The National Kidney Foundation is specific about this. For patients with stage 3 and stage 4 chronic kidney disease, blood phosphorus should stay between 2.5 and 4.5 milligrams per deciliter. That's the target range. Yet research published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that a significant portion of CKD patients exceed 4.5 milligrams per deciliter without even knowing it, because high phosphorus rarely causes obvious symptoms in the early stages. No pain. No swelling. Nothing you can feel. Just a number on a lab report that most patients never ask about. And the downstream consequences go far beyond the kidneys. Elevated phosphorus is independently associated with a 52% higher risk of cardiovascular death in CKD patients, according to data from the NANS3 study. Your heart is under direct threat, not just your kidneys. So what does this mean practically? It means every time you sit down for a meal without thinking about phosphorus, you may be making a deposit into a biological debt that your kidneys and your heart will eventually have to pay. Now, knowing your target range is the first step. But the second step is where most people get it completely wrong, and it's actually more important than the number itself. Because here's something your nephrologist probably hasn't told you in detail: 200 milligrams of phosphorus from a chicken breast and 200 milligrams of phosphorus from a bowl of oats do not behave the same way in your body. One of them your kidneys can handle. One of them accelerates the damage. So now you know your target range. You know what excess phosphorus does to your kidneys, your arteries, and your heart. But here's where the real strategy begins, because simply eating less phosphorus is not enough. The patients who actually slow their kidney decline are not just cutting phosphorus. They are cutting the right kind of phosphorus. And that distinction changes everything. Let's talk about bioavailability, which is just a scientific word for how much of something your body actually absorbs. And when it comes to phosphorus, this number swings dramatically depending on where that phosphorus comes from. When you eat animal-based foods, meat, dairy, fish, the phosphorus inside them exists in an organic form that your digestive enzymes break down very efficiently. Your small intestine absorbs roughly 40 to 60% of the phosphorus from animal sources, according to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. That absorbed phosphorus goes straight into your bloodstream, immediately raising your serum phosphorus level, and immediately putting stress on kidneys that are already struggling to filter it out. Now here's where it gets genuinely important for you. Processed foods are actually worse than whole animal products. Phosphate additives, the kind used as preservatives and flavor enhancers in packaged meats, fast food, bottled drinks, and processed cheese, are inorganic phosphorus salts. Your body absorbs them at a rate of nearly 100%. No digestive barrier. No filtration delay. They hit your bloodstream almost immediately. A 2012 study in the Journal of Renal Nutrition estimated that phosphate additives in the average Western diet contribute an extra 300 to 1,000 milligrams of highly absorbable phosphorus per day on top of what people are already consuming from whole foods. For a kidney patient, that is not just harmful. That is genuinely dangerous. Plant-based phosphorus works through a completely different mechanism. In legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds, phosphorus is stored in a compound called phytic acid, also known as phytate. Human beings do not produce phytase, the enzyme required to fully break phytic acid down. As a result, your body absorbs only about 20 to 40% of the phosphorus from plant sources, according to data from the National Kidney Foundation's Clinical Practice Guidelines. The rest passes through your digestive system without ever entering your bloodstream. That means a bowl of lentils and a chicken breast might contain similar amounts of phosphorus on paper, but inside your body, the lentils deliver less than half the phosphorus load. This is the strategy. You are not just reducing the quantity of phosphorus. You are shifting the source of your phosphorus so that your kidneys face a fraction of the burden at every single meal. There is also a preparation factor worth knowing. Boiling plant foods, particularly legumes and grains, leaches a portion of their phytate content into the cooking water. Discarding that water after boiling further reduces the phosphorus your body is exposed to. A simple step. A measurable difference. A 2017 clinical trial involving CKD patients who switched to a predominantly plant-based protein diet showed a statistically significant improvement in serum phosphorus levels within just 8 weeks without reducing total protein intake. The kidneys responded not to less food, but to smarter food. Now, knowing the mechanism is one thing. But what does this look like on your actual plate? Because there are specific foods that exploit this bioavailability gap perfectly, foods that give you the protein your body needs while keeping your phosphorus load as low as possible. Some of them will surprise you. One of them is probably already sitting in your refrigerator right now. Nobody tells you the truth about what is actually on your plate. You've been handed a generic list of foods to avoid, maybe a pamphlet from your doctor's office, maybe a quick conversation at the end of a busy clinic appointment. But what you rarely hear is the specific reason why certain foods accelerate kidney failure faster than others, and more importantly, which foods you can actually eat freely without guilt, without fear, and without sacrificing the protein your body genuinely needs to function. Let's start with the foods that need to go. Not reduce. Not limit occasionally. Go completely. The first category is sodas and carbonated drinks. This is not about sugar or calories. This is specifically about phosphoric acid, an inorganic phosphate additive used to give dark sodas their sharp, tangy taste. As we covered earlier, inorganic phosphorus from additives absorbs at nearly 100% into your bloodstream. A single 12-ounce can of cola contains between 40 and 60 milligrams of inorganic phosphorus, and most people don't stop at one can. The National Kidney Foundation explicitly lists phosphoric acid-containing beverages as one of the highest priority items to eliminate for CKD patients at any stage. Right behind sodas are packaged and processed foods with phosphate additives. If you pick up any packaged product and see ingredients ending in phosphate, sodium phosphate, disodium phosphate, calcium phosphate, put it back. These are not naturally occurring compounds. They are industrially added preservatives with near-complete absorption rates. A 2012 analysis in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that phosphate additives are present in more than 40% of best-selling grocery items in the United States. Reading labels is not optional for kidney patients. It is survival. Red meat presents a different but equally serious problem. Beyond its high animal source phosphorus content absorbed at 40 to 60%, as we established, red meat also increases the acid load on your kidneys, accelerating the very filtration decline you're trying to prevent. A longitudinal study following over 1,500 CKD patients found that those with the highest red meat intake had a significantly faster rate of GFR decline compared to those who replaced red meat with plant-based protein sources. The kidneys are not just filtering phosphorus from red meat. They are working overtime on multiple fronts simultaneously. Baked goods, bread, pastries, muffins, commercial cakes combine the worst of both worlds: phosphate leavening agents like sodium acid pyrophosphate, plus refined starches that offer zero nutritional benefit to a kidney patient. They are not a treat. For a person with CKD, they are a quiet accelerant. Now here's where the conversation shifts completely. Because once you clear these foods out, you need protein to replace them. And this is where most kidney diet advice fails older patients. It tells you what to cut but leaves you with nothing adequate to eat. So let's talk about the 3 foods that change that equation entirely. Number 1, egg whites. Egg whites are arguably the most kidney-friendly protein source that exists. A single large egg white contains approximately 3.6 grams of high-quality complete protein with all essential amino acids and only 5 milligrams of phosphorus. Compare that to a whole egg, which carries around 95 milligrams of phosphorus, or a 3-ounce serving of chicken breast at roughly 195 milligrams. The mechanism here is straightforward. Egg whites are almost entirely protein and water, with virtually no phosphorus-containing compounds in their structure. The preparation is simple. Boiled, poached, or lightly cooked without frying in heavy oils. For kidney patients who need protein without phosphorus load, egg whites consumed at breakfast or alongside any meal deliver maximum biological value at minimum kidney cost. Number 2, tofu. Tofu is made from soybeans, which means its phosphorus is bound in phytate, the plant-based form your body absorbs poorly. A half-cup serving of firm tofu provides roughly 10 grams of protein and approximately 120 milligrams of phosphorus, but because of the low bioavailability of plant phosphorus, the actual absorbed amount is significantly lower than that number suggests. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Renal Nutrition confirmed that substituting animal protein with tofu in CKD patients led to measurable reductions in serum phosphorus within 4 weeks. Tofu is also versatile. It absorbs flavor from whatever you cook it with, making it genuinely practical for daily meals rather than just a clinical recommendation nobody follows. Firm tofu holds up well when pan-cooked without heavy sauces containing phosphate additives. Silken tofu blends smoothly into soups and soft dishes, particularly useful for older patients who may have difficulty chewing. Number 3. Quinoa. Quinoa is one of the very few plant foods that qualifies as a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own. A 1-cup cooked serving delivers approximately 8 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, and meaningful amounts of magnesium and iron. Its phosphorus content sits around 280 milligrams per cup, but again, bound almost entirely in phytate. Rinsing quinoa thoroughly before cooking and boiling it in fresh water, then discarding the cooking water, reduces its phytate and phosphorus content further. Beyond protein, quinoa's antioxidant compounds including quercetin and camphorol have shown anti-inflammatory properties in preliminary studies, which matters because chronic inflammation is a significant driver of CKD progression independent of phosphorus alone. So your plate is now taking shape. Egg whites, tofu, quinoa, high biological value protein, low absorbable phosphorus, practical to prepare. But diet alone, as powerful as it is, may not be sufficient for patients already at stage 3 or stage 4. Because there are specific clinical tools, including a particular vitamin that has shown the ability to help patients actually move backward in their CKD staging, that work directly alongside this dietary strategy to give your kidneys the best possible environment to recover. You have already done something most kidney patients never do. You now understand which phosphorus is dangerous, which is manageable, and which foods work in your favor. But smart management of kidney disease does not stop at the dinner table. Because even the most disciplined diet has a ceiling, and for patients at stage 3 or stage 4, that ceiling may not be high enough on its own. What bridges that gap are 3 clinical strategies that work directly alongside your diet, not separately from it. The first is something your nephrologist may have already mentioned, but possibly without explaining the full mechanism behind it. Phosphate binders are medications taken with meals, not before, not after, but during eating, specifically to intercept phosphorus inside your digestive tract before it ever reaches your bloodstream. The most commonly used type is calcium carbonate, which you may recognize under brand names like Tums. When taken with food, calcium carbonate binds to phosphate molecules in your stomach and small intestine, forming an insoluble compound that your body cannot absorb. That compound simply passes through and exits your system. The active compound here is the calcium ion itself, which has a strong chemical affinity for phosphate. A 2009 meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases found that appropriate phosphate binder use reduced serum phosphorus levels by an average of 0.9 mg per deciliter in CKD patients, a clinically meaningful reduction when your target range is only a 2-point window between 2.5 and 4.5 mg per deciliter. The critical point about timing is non-negotiable. Taken on an empty stomach, phosphate binders have almost no effect. They must be present in your digestive system at the same moment food is being broken down. One binder with the first few bites. Another if the meal is large. Never on its own. Now here is the part that tends to surprise people, and it surprised me too when I first looked into the research. Vitamin D is not just a bone supplement, In the context of kidney disease, active vitamin D, specifically calcitriol, which is the form your kidneys are supposed to produce but increasingly cannot as function declines, plays a direct role in regulating the parathyroid hormone, or PTH. Elevated PTH is one of the primary drivers of the calcium-phosphate imbalance we discussed earlier. It is PTH that pulls calcium from your bones and contributes to vascular calcification. When active vitamin D levels are restored through supplementation, PTH is suppressed, the calcium-phosphate dysregulation improves, and the downstream damage to your arteries and kidneys slows measurably. A landmark clinical trial published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology followed stage 3 and stage 4 CKD patients receiving active vitamin D therapy and found that a meaningful subset showed not just stabilization but actual GFR improvement over 18 months, with some patients reclassifying from stage 4 to stage 2 by the end of the study period. This is not a guarantee, but it is a documented, reproducible outcome when the intervention is applied correctly under medical supervision. The third strategy is protein control, and this one requires honesty rather than comfort. More protein does not mean better health for a kidney patient. Current evidence, including guidelines from the National Kidney Foundation's DOKI update, recommends that CKD patients not on dialysis maintain protein intake below 0.75 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. For a 70 kilogram person, that is no more than 52 grams of protein daily. Every gram of protein your body metabolizes produces nitrogen waste that your kidneys must filter. The lower your protein load, the less filtration demand you place on kidneys that are already working at reduced capacity. The key in this connects directly back to everything we've covered today, is that those 52 grams should come predominantly from high biological value sources with low phosphorus absorption. Egg whites, tofu, quinoa. Not red meat. Not processed food. The quality of your protein matters as much as the quantity. So let's bring this all together. A low-phosphorus diet built around plant-based proteins and egg whites reduces the phosphorus entering your bloodstream at the source. Phosphate binders catch what slips through during meals. Active vitamin D corrects the hormonal imbalance that amplifies the damage. And controlled, high-quality protein reduces the overall filtration burden on your kidneys every single day. These 4 elements are not independent recommendations. They are a system, and they work best when applied together, consistently, under the guidance of your nephrologist. Your kidneys have more capacity to recover than most people are ever told. The question is whether you give them the right conditions to do it. Your kidneys are not giving up on you. So don't give up on them. Every meal you choose wisely, every soda you put down, every egg white you add to your plate, that is not a small decision. That is your body being given a genuine chance to fight back. Stage 4 is not a sentence. It is a starting point for the right strategy. Start today. Not next week. Today. If this video helped you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for our next video. I'll see you there. Take care of yourself, you deserve it.